Ambassador Vilan, thank you very much for talking for Telegraf. It's been a little more than 48 hours since the unprecedented attack of Hamas started. We have the latest information that Israel ordered a full siege of Gaza. Can you tell us what is the situation now?
Well, thank you very much for having me and for giving me the opportunity to share the situation in Israel with your viewers. Yes, Israel was brutally attacked almost or more than 48 hours ago on Saturday morning. Unprovoked, unjustified, barbarian attack of thousands of terrorists into more than 30 Israeli communities around Gaza, along with some almost 3,000 rockets. Up until now, it's more than 5,000 rockets. The recent barrage of rockets just now, practically almost all over the country, or half of the country, or the central part of the country. And yes, moving from house to house and just massacring people. Families, entire families lost their lives. Parents with children, young people who came to dance and have nice music. Horrible, horrible stories. The footage is coming more and more from the scene. Scenes that we have never witnessed in Israel. I hope nobody in the world ever witnessed with his own people. The numbers just updated to 800 people who lost their lives. Just try to imagine someone penetrating Serbia and killing 600 people, let's say, comparing to your population, 700 people. It's really unimaginable. So definitely we have, and we will, and we're already reacting. The Prime Minister announced that we are in a war again. I don't think anyone needed this announcement because we were in a war. This was not just an operation or a terrorist act. This was an all-out war engaged or declared against Israel by Hamas. Israel is reacting. At the moment, we are still fighting on the ground. At the moment, in the very recent hours, the IDF said that there are no more terrorists on our part of the border, other side of the border, and we are attacking Gaza at the moment mostly from the air. I don't believe it will end there. Israel will have to change the paradigm of how we are dealing with Gaza.
Talking about the war, this is the first time that Israel is actually in the war for the last half a century. I mean, in the past decades, on and off, there were battles, there were operations. But how did we get to this? How did this happen?
This is not only the first time we are in a war in few decades. This is the first time since 1948 that women and children are get into captivity. That people are going like this into our houses, killing people, and we have probably around 130, 150 people that were captured and taken into Gaza. How we got there, it's a very, very good question. Again, from the political aspect of it, I, of course, hear since the last 2 days, mostly Palestinian people talking about it's all because of the occupation. But first of all, it's ridiculous from every angle because Israel pulled out from Gaza back in 2006 in order not to occupy Gaza anymore, in order to allow it to become, in a way, kind of a test for the Palestinians, how they can run their own state. Again, as part of a comprehensive peace agreement in the future. What has been done in Gaza, we all see. Not a penny invested into industry, into healthcare, schooling, nothing. Every penny that came to this territory was used for terrorism and terrorism and terrorism. And so saying that, it's because of some deadlock or because of this or because of that, it's ridiculous. And again, Such brutality is something that I believe no person on earth can accept. No matter what the so-called reasons might be, these people are not and will never be, cannot be from now on, any potential partners for negotiation. These people are just like ISIS. I don't think anyone in the world had any intentions back in those years to negotiate with ISIS. These people, these elements, should be destroyed. There is no room for any future negotiation with people who carried out what they've done to our people.
Please tell me, we were talking about the militants of Hamas getting into the houses. Do you have information how deep actually did they get into the territory of Israel?
Well, yes, so as I said, we are some 30 or even more than 30 communities. Most of them are small communities, what we call kibbutzim and moshavim, like villages, and these communities few kilometers from the border, very close. And the city of Sderot, which is also very close. The deepest they got is the city of Ofakim, which is about 30 kilometers, I would say, into Israel, where also they try to capture some people and to attack civilians. So that was, I think, about 30 kilometers.
But they are neutralized. From this morning, you said you had 8 active spots that they were actually on the land, but now it's all neutralized. You don't have any active fightings.
At the moment, yes, but I want to believe it's final because we also been in some stages that we thought that everything is being cleaned. But I think, yes, for now, as it seems right now, the last eight are cleared. And at the moment, there are no Palestinian terrorists in our side.
Please tell me, we also spoke about the kidnapped people. They're also foreign people, Israeli. It's more than 100 of them. What is the government doing to help their families? What is the government doing to help to find those people that are missing for 2 days and more now?
Look, this is definitely one of the most difficult parts that we are going to deal with. Not only this huge number, but also, again, part of the cruelty and cynicism of Hamas, which are never behaving under any code of conduct acceptable by the international community. So, of course, they're not releasing the numbers, they're not releasing the names. They start playing games and already said that in our attacks, 4 people were killed from those hostages. They might say, but you can never believe to anything they're saying. It will definitely be in very high priority in our demands and our negotiation with whoever right in the beginning, because again, they have to take care of their safety and everything else. The government appointed a person to be in touch with the families and also in the future with probably some mediators. It's usually the Egyptian, but who knows at the moment. And I just read that they promised the families that in the next 72 hours, all the lists will be released and be given to the families. It's absolutely another horrendous part of this whole operation by Hamas.
Really. Yes, terrible, something that the world hasn't seen, never.
And you saw the pictures. It's ladies who are 85 years old, sick ladies, mother with kids. I mean, whoever imagined to take such people as hostages of an operation?
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about the support. Israel has got a huge support all over the world, but the biggest thing is the support from the US that came last night with sending the ships and everything. Tell me, what do you expect to be the result of such support?
Look, the support is important, I believe, and of course I'm not underestimating the importance of military support from the US. Mostly this is our main ally, but the support is mostly important from the perspective of diplomacy, of the international community support. I also read that the Austrian government said that they will cut all the aid they are giving to the Palestinians, which are also acts which are, I believe, are very important because they should get a clear message that when they're acting like this, the world is unanimously behind Israel. And it's okay when it is like this at this point. But I do want to see it continuing in a week time, in 2 weeks' time, when we will start to retaliate, because it's some countries, I don't think Serbia is among them, but there are countries who are always making very quickly this only way to check or to balance who attacked more and who's suffering more by just counting bodies. I don't think counting bodies is the right measure. I think people should understand who started, who initiated, who is deliberately aiming at civilians and going to kill civilians, and who is trying to do their utmost to minimize the casualties among non-combatant people, which is Israel. That's how we always acted, and that's how we will act now, because again, it's very important to say, we have no military conflict with the Palestinian people. They are there, we are there. Nobody believe or think or hope or whatever that Gaza will disappear, or the Palestinians. They are there. What should be disappeared is those gangs of Hamas, which are, again, as I said, just like ISIS. These people could not stay, and I think we are in different ballgame now. And this ballgame have to be over when they are not there.
Speaking of support, I'll go back to Israel. Tell me at this moment, did any other country show full support or aid to you? And on the other side, how do you comment the Iranian government saying that they absolutely had nothing to do directly with the action of Hamas in the last 48 hours?
You will not be surprised if I will tell you I don't believe a word they're saying. Most of the time, definitely not this time. We saw the publication in the Wall Street Journal saying that there was a meeting of all these elements in Beirut organized by the Iranians last Monday, exactly a week from today. Such operation cannot be carried out without a huge support, financial support, logistics, training by the Iranians. This couldn't be done just by people on the ground. And the Iranians are heavily involved in not just in Israel, in Syria, in Lebanon, with Hezbollah. So allow me not to believe that when they are saying that they have nothing to do with this horrific attack on Saturday.
Considering that I'm talking to you now, unfortunately, from everything that's going on, I can say that neither you nor am I convinced that this time this can end fast. Do you think it's going to be a long war in front of us? Or you can think this can be over as soon as possible with the less casualties as possible?
Unfortunately, I'm afraid it will have to be a long war. And by the way, it's not always the length is in parallel with casualties. Sometimes maybe the other way around, because if you want to act fast, you might kill more people. If you want to do it, you take your time, and that's part of the usual problem for us. We usually, small country like Israel, you know it also from here in Serbia, we cannot act militarily forever. We need international support, and then start coming pressure. That's why it's important for us to get this support to what we are doing, because we are sure that morally we are doing the right thing. And we ask for the support, the moral support of the world for what we are doing. And I'm afraid it's not going to be a short war. Again, I don't think we can allow ourselves to do it just like in the other rounds, because this is a different thing. A country like Israel never lost 800 people, again, mostly civilians, in one morning. And this will have to be retaliated differently.